What's up, Artemers? How are we doing today? I don't say this often, but my name is Alex, if you didn't know. We're going to be talking about something today that's not necessarily suffering and existentialism, so I hope you're excited about that. What I thought we could do was a little crossover episode between The Secret, the Law of Attraction, vision boarding, and then bullet journaling. And I thought that could be fun. Bullet journaling is something that I got into recently, like a few months ago. I don't even know. I've got one book full like this much and another book full like this much, but the paper is different, so there's that. I'm really excited to get into it and all of that jazz. First off, I wanted to define what we are talking about today, and to start, there's the secret. We're just gonna cover the basics here today in that. If you want me to cover the entire documentary, I would love to, but the 3 basic steps to the secret is ask, believe, and receive. In these 3 steps, what we do is we look to the universe like a genie in a bottle, and we pretty much just tell them what we want through positive thinking, pretty much changing our perspective to what we want versus what we don't want. And this can be seen through many quotes throughout all of history, and the documentary and pairing book uses these quotes to explain it really beautifully. One of them, from my favorite, would be Buddha. I should get out the book and find one. Okay, so this is The Secret book. Paper's too thick to flip to a random page. So this quote is from Albert Einstein. We all know him. Imagination is everything. It is a preview of life's coming attractions. So this is a really beautiful quote, and how it explains pretty much what we're going to be talking about today, and that is our imagination to ask the universe what we want and then to receive it.
The law of mentalism is about the mind. Everything that we have ever created, everything that has ever existed first in the mind. All thoughts are the beginning of all things real. All things that you can touch and feel began in the mind.
I don't really want to go in too much today about the actual logistics of receiving things from the universe, but that's just because people are such naysayers. They say that the universe is not magical, and I'm just like, you better freaking take that back and clap your hands, or, you know, you're never gonna get anything from the universe. Sorry about that. So the first step to ask, believe, and receive is ask. And what we do in this is we move our thoughts to positivity and what we want.
If you look around, there's nothing but the abundance everywhere that you see. You see the trees growing. You see businesses happening. This is wealth, this is prosperity, this is abundance. If it's not happening for you, it's because unconsciously you have beliefs, counter intentions, negativity that actually blocks it from coming into your life. It's actually working the law of attraction all the time, but it's happening on an unconscious level. The abundance is there, the wealth is there, but if you don't feel it, if you're not expressing it, it's because inside of you, you may feel you don't deserve it. This is part of the unconscious work that has to be done in order for you to feel on a conscious, real, live, earth level what's happening with abundance and prosperity. Abundance, wealth is your natural birthright. If you're not feeling it, it's because of your unconscious belief.
The second step to this is to believe. And in this, we have to look at the universe as magical as it is. because when you look at it as a magical, beautiful place, it will be as such. And I know that might sound weird and cheesy, but I watched The Secret the first time I was 9 years old, or 7 years old. And I think that may have been bad on my personhood, but that's okay. I believe in the universe, and thus my work and hard efforts receive. Onto the third step. My hard efforts receive their, or whatever. So when you believe in the universe, this is something like what Einstein says. You have imagination and you can look into the universe as what it could be, and all of the possibilities and potentialities for your own person. And this is something that I really look to, in that not everyone wants to do the same thing that everyone else does. You have to look and see other avenues. Just like most philosophers would think, I should write a book, but I'm over here like, do people even read books? I should start a YouTube channel. The third step to this is receive. And what this comes from is from asking the universe and then believing in it, as well as hard work and effort. And what it does is it takes your positive thinking and gives it right back to you. I like to also think of this as karma.
My meta secret about wealth ultimately is you've got to create a lot of value for a lot of people. And if you do that, you will bring a lot of wealth back to you. So by giving service and giving that which helps other people improve their lives, brings joy to them, brings service and products to them, if you do that and you keep expanding that, always be thinking about expanding your service to others. And if you do that, wealth is a foregone conclusion.
The next thing that I wanted to talk about was vision boarding. And this is a pretty big thing that they talk about in the documentary as well as the book. One of the hosts of the documentary actually gives a really beautiful story that he tells to his son, where his son finds the vision boards in a box somehow.
What's in the boxes, Daddy?
I said, well, honey, those are my vision boards.
What's a vision board?
I said, well, it's where I put all my goals up. I cut them out and I put all my goals up as something that I want to achieve in my life.
And then the host realizes they work.
And so I cut the box open. And when I pulled up the vision boards, there was a picture on there of a home that I was visualizing 5 years earlier. And what was shocking to me was we were living in that house, not a house like it. I had bought my dream home, renovated it, and didn't even know it.
What's ironic is the page we randomly flipped to talks about vision boards right on the same page underneath Einstein's quote. So no wonder it seems so on topic. So this paragraph here says, you can let your imagination go wild with a vision board and place pictures of all the things you want and pictures of how you want your life to be. Make sure you put the vision board in a place where you see it and look at it every day. Feel the feelings of having those things now. The important thing here is where it says, feel the feelings of having those things now. And that's why the documentary itself goes so heavily into visualization, which is where you can literally close your eyes and just straight up imagine as if you had everything that you ever wanted, ever in your life. One thing that we could pull in here would be Nietzsche's eternal occurrence, where he talks about thinking of your life in a way where it's eternal. You live your same exact life 1,000 times over, 1,000,000 times over, a literal infinite amount of times over again. And what do you want to be in it? I know we talk about a lot on this channel, like, you only have one life, it's this worldly, there's nothing beyond it that we know of. And that's the exact thinking practice of his eternal recurrence, where you imagine your life as short as it is and what you would want to be in it.
One of the most important things you need to do in your life is discover your life purpose. I believe that everybody is born with an individual and unique purpose. And when you are doing your life purpose, when you're living it, expressing it, fulfilling it, you're happy. And so many people have talked about joy being your guidance system, that when you're off purpose, you're not happy, you're not joyful. And so this joy, this inner experience of happiness and joy is a way of saying, oh, I'm on course, I'm doing the things I'm supposed to do. Stephen Covey said, you know, you don't want to get to the end of life and get to the top of the ladder and find out the ladder was leaning against the wrong building. You can be very, very successful. And we see people with all the cars and the toys and the money and the society recognition and so forth, but they're not happy because they're not fulfilling their purpose. Think about it like this. A rose has to be a rose. A chrysanthemum has to be a chrysanthemum. A geranium has to be a geranium. And yet we as people have been given choice. The choice to pursue any number of things and do whatever we want to do. But unfortunately, most of us have been talked out of our purpose.
And so with the vision board, basically you're just taking this and you're putting it on paper. With Einstein's quote, it's just your straight up imagination. The world is your oyster. And that is how people build new empires, you know, classic Elon Musk building and thinking outside of the box. I'm really excited to show you guys the process to my creating a vision board in the way of bullet journaling. But just a little spoiler here, one of the pictures I used for a microphone is technically a hairdryer. But it's your freaking imagination. If you want a hairdryer to be a microphone, that's what it is. Like, it's just what you want it to be. The next part of our defining terms section here would be bullet journaling. And I really appreciate the definition that I found on goodhousekeeping.com by Amanda Garrity and Liz Schumer. So I would like to read that for you guys today. Bullet journaling is equal parts day planner, diary, and written meditation. Bullet journaling turns the chaos of coordinating your life into a streamlined system that helps you be more productive and reach your personal and professional goals. It's a bit of a mouthful, right? Diary, day planner, written meditation. It's on dotted paper. It's whatever you want it to be. It's not buying a day planner that says Monday or Sunday through the end of the week. It's just making it whatever the freaking frack you want it to be, literally. I like to use this one for outlines, for videos. Try to make them a nice 2 pages. It's inconvenient, but it's what I like to do. And then insert here or here a million other ways to use it. Like, some people like to measure out their budgeting or savings. I have a cool savings one. Other people like to just use it for their weekly planner, or they use it to measure their habits with trackers and little highlighters. It's really fun. It's weirdly addictive, but I think it's because it's so freaking relaxing. Relaxing might be a weird word to use because I have slight undiagnosed OCD and just straight up perfectionism. So I get really frustrated when lines aren't perfect, but then you just remember there's so many more pages. And once it's a finished product, you don't see one line messed up. So you get over that. And I think it might actually be helping my perfectionism. But I've also started taking a lot more time with pencils and then ink. So BuJo, as it's also called, bullet journaling, was created by someone named Ryder Carroll, which sounds crazy, right? Like, right? It was created by someone contemporary, like it's writing in dots. But we're just gonna take the internet's word for that for now. I didn't feel like going into that far. He takes credit. That's cool. But he's got a couple awesome quotes here that I would like to share with you guys. What Ryder Carroll says is that bullet journaling is a mindfulness practice disguised as a productivity system. You learn how to get rid of things that are distracting you and add things you care about. The only thing that the bullet journal needs to be is effective. I really appreciate that last quote because of what I was just saying. It doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to work for you. So in marrying these two things, vision boarding, bullet journaling, it's right there. It's like obvious, right? As an example for you guys today, I've created my first completely picture, no writing, vision board bullet journal page, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. What's ironic here is that it's literally bullet journaling and vision boarding are about creating productive spaces. And what I want the most right now is a productive space. Mostly like a whole room to myself. And I know that's just like a waiting point. My lease is up in next April. But I have so many ideas and visions as to like the house I want to move into and what I want my workspace to look like. Getting to our how-to of this video, to which is modified from a link you can find in the description. But getting to the first point, dedicate time to what you want in life, what you have joy of thinking about, and what will be your future, what you want to be in your eternal recurrence.
Optimization is getting the highest and the best use and result and outcome of your time, your efforts, your emotion, your life, your relationships. But you can't begin, and this is where a lot of people, I think, really fall down. You can't begin to optimize until you take the time to observe, examine, and identify not all, but the scope of options and alternatives and other possibilities available to you, number one, to achieve the goal, and number two, as an alternative goal.
Dedicate time, and what I like to do is go through magazines and find pictures and just completely imagine, like, what do I even want my space to look like? But that takes us to our second how-to step. But that takes us to our second how-to step, to which is find your goal. Be that a daily goal, weekly, monthly, yearly.
You have always had, you have at this moment, you will always have in the future, the power to achieve, to accomplish, to have anything and everything you want in the terms of monetary wealth, prosperity, in terms of health, in terms of happiness, relationships. However, it will never, ever occur until and unless and until after you first are clear on the specific goals. Number two, you are very clear on the action steps. The operative word is action steps you have to take. Number three, you have an action step-based plan, a strategy, and the steps are just the tactics. You implement it in a timely, regular, scheduled way. Number four, you monitor, you pulse, you really pay keen attention to your progress, and you adjust if it's not what you want, and you adjust higher if it's better than you want. And number five, you focus on other people's benefit. You don't be self-consumed. You do those 5 things, the world really is your oyster.
But yeah, my daily goal is to have a completely awesomely open space, like an open floor plan with a studio space and a space to do my emailing, and just super big and open. And so I could do cartwheels in my workspace. That's what I want in life. And so the third step, find visual representations. In this, I go through Vogue magazines. That was a little difficult. I went through a music magazine, not helpful. I went through some Vanity Fair magazines, a little bit more helpful. And then all of that mixed together, it was a freaking masterpiece. My advice to anyone who's really like following this toe to toe is don't look through one like brand or one network of magazines, or else you're gonna find like a lot of similar things. The next step here is organize/decoupage. This can be a little difficult if you get out too many pictures for a small page. You might want to look to a poster board. If that much inspired you. I was able to compile all of the pages down into just the couple things that I wanted to really focus on. Like, I realized I might not need that many books in my picture. And then I don't really want like a velvet chair, but I want a beautiful chair. Like, things aren't perfect, but we organize them into what makes us happy. And that chair had a puppy on it. So the next step here is to find all of the things that you like, put them together, and then to find extra things like washi tape. This is the bullet journal thing coming in. Another thing that a lot of people like to do is like written box squares or calligraphy or old time like corners to hold photos. Yeah, find things that inspire joy to you. What inspires joy to me would be all the washi tape I have that looks like fairy lights or punk rock moons.
You have to realize that the point of power in your life is in this moment. People think about the future and they throw their power into the future. There is no future. When it gets here, it's called now. It's called this moment. People think about the past and they throw their power into the past. But there is no past. It's gone. When you think about the past, you think about it in this moment. This moment is all there is. And you can be happy in this moment. When you are, everything is taken care of. All is well.
The next step to this is to create different pages for different goals. I have one page dedicated to my dream home, where I have my whole budget planned, as well as a huge picture of a home that basically looks like what I've been dreaming about. I found it in a magazine and I was like, There it is. That might be forever home and not the next one, but we're thinking positively here. The final step to our vision board bullet journal is to feel immensely grateful and joyful about what we have, right? It's about visualizing goals as being complete, which is something a lot of people don't really think about. All throughout college, I was not thinking about what life would be like after college. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to. I didn't. Or people say it's all about the journey and not the destination. In this case, it's completely about the destination, but you have to work during the journey to get there, as well as have hope and gratitude and joy for feeling this way. We can't just be grumpy grosses and get what we want in life. To me, that's just karma. If you're mean to the universe, it's gonna be mean to you back.
Here's the paradox of being human. Real happiness is only available in the moment. If you're brooding on the past or obsessed about the future, even if you're looking forward to something that could be magnificent in the future, it's not quite the same sort of anchored contentment that you get from really being in the moment. We human beings seem to be perpetually someplace else. That's kind of like one definition of the human predicament, the human condition. We are perpetually thinking about the past, the future, something to the right, something to the left, something else. I think the paradox to happiness is you do have to have dreams and aspirations, and you have to be anchored, rooted, and happy where you are. Not always easy to do, but I keep trying.
No, I think the law of attraction is fairly spiritual and a real thing. As I've already said, I literally watched The Secret way too young. How would I even explain it without sounding like a crazy person? There's a really beautiful analogy of how the law of attraction works in The Secret documentary, and that is like a seed under the ground, and you plant the seed. That's when you ask. And after you believe, it starts to grow. And you have to believe long enough for it to grow past the ground line. And if you don't believe in it enough or long enough for it to get past that point, then your wish is my command and it won't. And so with that, I will have to say it's very difficult in practicing Buddhist values of not having desires while still following the law of attraction where you are to have desires. And we can here ask if the law of attraction is somehow a counter movement to having desires and having them satisfied too quickly, and then suffering through this. Yeah, having desires and suffering in between satisfaction and wishes. And to this, we have to talk about the first step to the secret is to wish, is to ask something of the universe. But as a modest person, what I like to say here is just don't ask too much. Don't ask too much of the universe. Don't ask for $1 million and have passion and desire for it every day, and then also have desires to play video games every single day. those are, cognitive dissonance going on there.
There's a concept they don't teach you in school. It's called enough. Sometimes what is enough for one person may not be that way for somebody else. And we want more. And when you want more, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Because not always will you get more. Sometimes you do, but it's not all the time. I don't know who told us on this planet that everything is going to go our way. Sometimes things will go your way. Sometimes they won't. We've got to learn to accept this. That's the rhythm and the flow of life. All of life is filled with possibilities. And when you see possibilities, well, it allows you to accept failures as not final.
The goals created in the law of attraction, in my use of it, is for actual long-term and goals that you want completed in the present. And this wouldn't be simple desires or wishes or simple things that you would ask the universe for. This would be fairly large asks. And so I don't ask very, very often. But I don't ask the universe for things that I would consider small, like in the documentary, which is like parking spaces. I look to it more like the woman who is able to cure her own disease by repeating to herself, "Thank you for my healing," every day, and she would feel grateful for her healing. Like, this isn't talking about putting up a vision board and being all like, I want a freaking better TV for my living room. Like, maybe if that brings you like enormous amounts of gratitude. But for me, what brings me enormous amounts of gratitude would be like changing my workspace, more space in life. For some other people, it would maybe be having a large yard to go out and play in, or having a large bank account so you don't have to worry about living paycheck to paycheck. When I'm talking about vision boarding and bullet journaling, I'm talking about pretty much creating a wish list. Like the documentary says, like picking out of a catalog of the universe, going, I want this, and I want that, and no, I want that experience, and I want that. I don't know, I haven't watched it like in a whole semester. So in my vision board bullet journal here, what I have is asking the universe for a more open space, to be surrounded by plants and books, and to have a window. I have a serious lack of windows in this tiny apartment. And to have lots and lots and lots of books. And ironically, this picture has Prismacolor pens. That would be amazing too. And here is the hairdryer / it's a freaking microphone with a light on it. What? Yeah, open space, books, flowers. Like, it's not a wish list. Like, I was scouring the internet to print out a picture of like an iMac, because it's like, well, yeah, that's obviously what I want, but like I don't know how to really explain it. It's feelings, it's spirituality, it's putting down on paper your imagination. Go wild with it. Like, if you want to call it a vision board, if you want to call it a prayer board, if you want to call it a freaking visual wish list or shopping list, like, that's all cool.
First thing, quit listening to what everyone else is telling you what to do. And start paying attention to what you want to do. You see, I can look back with my memory, and I can remember going and saying, Mom, Dad, or to the teacher, I want to do so-and-so. And they'd say, now, how are you going to do that? See, what they didn't understand is I didn't know how to do it. But neither does anyone know how to do the things they want to do when they first think of it. You don't have to know how.
I think one thing that Heidegger would probably say here is like, why are you limiting yourself to paper or things that are only in a magazine? Frickin' draw them yourself. Like, but Heidegger, we all can't be perfect here. I think what's awesome about putting vision boards into bullet journals is probably, what else are you gonna do with the pages that are covered in marker on the other side of them? Like, sometimes you need some filler pages for books that are 200 pages long. Sometimes you need a reason to get into your book that's not like to create a list or to create a new list that you have to fill out daily or monthly or track habits. Habit trackers make me go crazy. I can't do it. So sometimes you just need some diary, day planner, written meditation, purely in the form of visual art. My creative writing teacher in high school, I loved her for this. We had to do a 15-minute free writing sesh every day, and she said if you feel like drawing, just do it. And I did it practically half the time, or more. I think that's when I got really into mandalas, but that's besides the point. I'm glad we talked about something besides suffering and existentialism today. I did my makeup extra special, if you guys couldn't tell. Let me please read the last quote I have here from writer Carol, and that is, "The bullet journal method is truly about the art of intentional living." So when you're thinking about what should I bullet journal, or I should scroll Pinterest and get some inspiration, maybe look to Albert Einstein's quote, and your imagination is everything. And don't just settle on things that you find on Pinterest. World's your oyster, man. Fill it full of pictures.
The world really is your oyster.
I feel like I'm getting repetitive at this point. As I said, it was lovely talking about something that's super not just suffering and existentialism, but it is still about you being you, so definitely still do that. And I hope to catch you guys on the next one. By the way, today I ordered Heidegger's Nietzsche volumes 1 through 4. So if you want to follow along with that, let me know. And I'll see you guys on the next time. Have a great rest of your day and go eat your dinner, and I love you. Bye.
Time, not